Welcome, everybody, to the Uneducated Takes. I'm your host with the most, Wanderbread, and I'm here with Ariel, the heavyweight. You know what I mean? We're going to basically come to you guys. We're going to start a new segment here where we're going to start talking about UFC upcoming events, and we're going to give you a good little breakdown of basically the card, what we think, and how it goes. And we want your guys' comments, kind of what you guys think of the fights that are up and coming, and anything that you might think, we should add to the show. Let us know in the comments, everything that you guys may want to suggest. Very helpful. And let's get it cracking. How you doing, Ariel? How's everything?
I'm doing great. I'm excited about these fights coming up.
Yeah, me too, man. Honestly, this card is pretty stacked. UFC 299, if you guys haven't seen it. It honestly, I feel like UFC at the beginning of the year, they were just coming back off of Christmas. Everybody had that nice little layover, and there weren't any fights for a while. And then they started off pretty good. They gave us a really good pay-per-view, and then we started getting those fight nights, which I don't know about you, but I'm not the biggest fan of the fight nights sometimes when they do them in the Apex in Vegas. That's like the UFC Rand Arena.
Yeah, where it has no crowd really.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Weird vibe. It definitely is.
Tell me it's not a huge part of the fight when you get this knockout or this crazy submission out of nowhere, and you also get granted, you're in your living room just sitting there doing nothing, but then you get this crazy pop from the crowd and everybody's going crazy. You get that energy too. You're let's go.
You feel that. You part of that.
Yeah, man. So I feel like when they do it and it's just the coaches, you know what I mean? And
you can just hear all their fucking coaching.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll say this, during COVID when the UFC was one of the only sports that was around and they were doing the fights in the Apex, it was pretty cool because you got to still see the sports. You still got every week there was content for you to get your fix, I guess, of watching sports. But at the end of the day, once things started to let up and they started getting the arenas back, they first started going back to Florida and stuff like that. Yeah. And once you get that arena feel, same thing for the fighters, I feel like you can't go back. You can't.
All right.
Every now and then I understand maybe you got to get these random up-and-coming guys and nobody's heard of it.
Yeah. From this.
Yeah, you got to get...
not this fucking empty-ass gym again.
Oh, I mean, think about it. You've been in how many, sporting events in your life? How many times do you think you would want to be there and there's 4 people watching?
Yeah.
Even in a pickup game, you got 10 people watching. You're oh, I'm in this, bro. I'm out here. You know what I mean?
There's definitely a different element to it when you have a crowd.
Oh, for sure. So I feel like when they do it in the Apex, it's just not it. So then they started picking back up. I will say that. So they started doing now that we're getting closer to UFC 300, they've been stacking these cards a little bit better.
I feel like they're trying to warm you up.
Dog,
a little by little warm
They're
up.
getting me. I'm
they
gonna tell you that
definitely got me hooked right now.
Every time Dana White is posted up, so I like that he does that. By the way, it's the only time where you get that kind of excitement, that WWE feel when you're just it's late night, you're scrolling on Instagram and you just see Dana White pop up. He goes, "What's up, everybody?" You already know you're about to get some crazy announcement. For the last couple months, he's been doing. I'm not gonna lie, he's been doing a lot of interesting moves, but a lot of really cool matchups coming up with the UFC cards that are coming up. So UFC 298 just passed, and that one was sick. Unfortunately, we saw our boy Volkanovski get knocked out by Ilya. That was shameful. But you got to give it to Ilya. Listen, to be 15-0 and just in a sense walking through people for the most part, having some trouble here and there, but you've been doing pretty well. And then you're going up against the champion. This is your first title shot in the UFC. He's had some title shots in other organizations, but this is his first title shot in the UFC, and he's just I'm gonna knock him out.
Yeah,
round 1. He's done.
He wants it.
No, he's I'm going to knock him out, and then right after that, I'm going to call out Conor McGregor, just super confident. He didn't do it in round 1, but he did it in round 2. He still did it, though. You got to give him props. You know what's crazy is a week before they fought, he changed his Instagram info to say he was already the champion and that he was already 16-0.
That boy manifesting this shit.
It's manifesting, but you think that's too big of a gamble? Because imagine he lost, though.
If he did lose.
What does that look like on Instagram afterwards?
He wasn't taking no for an answer.
Do you just delete the account? I feel like you got to delete
Hopefully
the
nobody
account.
noticed. Nobody
will notice. But now it's crazy because now with Ilya, after that win, he's now I guess he was already an international star, but I would say now he's getting to international superstardom, which is wild that how quickly it happens for you becoming a champion. Yeah, he's from Spain.
Okay.
So he's from Georgia, not U.S. Georgia, the other Georgia, and he's what is he? Born in Germany. He's Georgian, and then he was raised in Spain. So he speaks like multiple languages, but he claims Spain for the most part. And he still represents Georgia, but I feel like he claims like he's a fighter out of Spain. But he's already gotten like a lot of press from like Real Madrid and like all the other like soccer football teams that are out there. Like they've had him come out and do a whole like big press tour and whatnot. So that's been pretty cool to see. But that was like a stacked card that we had some pretty good fights. And then we come to UFC 299.
299.
Arguably, in the community, people have been saying is a bigger card than UFC 300, which we'll get into. We're not going to... That's a later thing. That's a later topic, because that one in and of itself is like, whoa, Dana really was doing his thing. When he said he was going to stack it from the beginning to the end, well, in the end, it got a little Game of Thrones-y with the seasons. You know what I mean? Where it got to season 8, you're like, I don't know about that one. But, it's fine. We'll take it. It's still a good card. UFC 299. We got a stacked card. What do you think about it so far?
I'm excited about it. It's Sugar Sean O'Malley back.
Yeah, man.
Fucking
last time he was here. You know what I mean? He was in Boston, TD.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. Or he didn't have the dyed green hair. I think it was Aljo had the dyed green hair.
I wonder what hair he's gonna have this time.
I don't know, man. I feel like I like it in a sense. It's weird. It's like a
surprise every time.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it this way. Everybody has to wear the same uniform when it comes to the UFC. They all got to wear the same like shorts. You get like a choice of color usually based off of like where you're from. But other than that, you don't really get anything that's like separates you. So with these guys, it's the beard, it's the hair, the Chuck Liddell mohawk and shit, the Bobby Green beard that looks like spikes, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And now it seems like every Brazilian is going blonde. I don't know if you've been noticing that, but it seems like every single male Brazilian is just like, blonde Super Saiyan.
That's just been their thing.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's working. I don't know. They're doing their thing. There's a resurgence of the Brazilians. The Russians and the Dagestanians have been running it, but they're coming back. Shout out to Brazil. But yeah, man. All right, let's get it started with this. So we're gonna start. We'll do bottom to the top, right? So
bottom to top.
Yeah,
okay,
we'll do the beginning and then we'll go there. All right. So we got, and I'm gonna pronounce this one right because I know how it's spelled, but it's not. I guess it's not said how it's spelled.
You got a better chance than I do. I'll tell you that.
Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. This one's gonna be a good one.
I think so.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a good one. Here's my thing. Both of them. Amazing strikers. They're going to be in the pocket swinging. I think it's going to be great. They do have wrestling, at their disposal if need be. But I feel like for this one, we're going to see a stand up. And then it's still like 3 rounds. So I feel like they gotta make a big statement in a way. So I know I go off the brand of uneducated MMA, but you got to do a little bit of research. I can't just sit here and just talk for like who knows how long. Off the dome. I gotta have something written or something prepared. I don't know.
Right.
So I did a little research into these guys, you know what I mean? Granted, I'm not gonna lie, the research has realistically been me sitting on the couch watching the fights as I do every single day. But yeah, man, Petr Yan, like, shout out to my boy. I will say, like, his last couple fights have been like exciting fights, but he's on a 3-fight losing skid.
Yeah.
He has lost the last 3 fights. Granted, Aljamain Sterling, former champion. Sean O'Malley, current champion. Merab Dvalishvili, contender for the title now.
These some heavy hitters.
So it's one of those things that like when you see like a losing streak like that, it's like, okay, but who is he losing to? Is it some trash cans or is it to like the best? And I mean, unfortunately, it's been to the best. You know what I mean? There's still losses though. Like I don't know.
Prior to that, we had that freaking illegal.
Yeah, well, that was I feel like that was his bad luck. Is with Aljamain Sterling, he illegally beat him, and then from there, it's kind of been downhill. I don't know. What do you think of that? Like when it comes to somebody like that, when it's like you're kind of been down on this like 3-fight losing skid. What do you think he's got to do in this fight to come back up? Because for me, this is it. This is the gate to whether you are still a contender for the title or you are no longer in that. Because as of right now, he's 4th in the division.
Right, and that can really fuck with your mentality completely.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's not like he's been getting knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been like decisions and stuff like that, but it hasn't been anything that, to my knowledge, has been anything crazy. So I feel like he's gotta win, and he's got to win in spectacular fashion. He's got to come out, knock him out.
I still got
round
this.
one.
Yeah,
show it. Yeah, he still got this.
This other guy's nice though.
Yo, Song Yadong is a beast.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. That's what I was worried about because he's kind of like has that young energy, kind of like
in that division. If I see his name on a card, I don't care if it's a fight night on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm watching.
Yeah,
like, that dude is a savage.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I mean, he is just put him anywhere.
Yeah,
anywhere. He's nasty on the feet. He's nasty on the ground. He does a good job of like keeping distance, keeping range, landing good shots. I feel like he just brings an exciting fight. He's a Chinese fighter that's up and coming that like I feel like is representing for that side, which I feel like there's a couple Chinese fighters, but we don't really get to see a lot. So I always like when there's different nationalities that come into the mix because they all have a different take on like kind of what martial art they do. Like they could all be like, for example, kickboxers or Muay Thai or whatever, but depending on where they're from, the coaches that they're seeing, they might have a different look on it. So it's always cool to see that. And I would argue he's one of the most like dynamic strikers in that, I feel like, weight division. Granted, that top creme de la creme of the top 5, those are some motherfuckers, bro. Like those are some tough dudes. Like they are all skilled everywhere, and they will do work everywhere. So you got to be on your tip-top shape, but that's when it comes to Petr Yan. You've lost your last 3. Are you on your tip-top shape?
Yeah, who wants it more? If I had to, like, do it off the who wants it more.
You got Song?
I think so.
I feel like I got Song on that one. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, we're going to go like this. We're going to do, let's say we go over the fight, and we'll do our pick. So I feel like I got Song. Do we want to be bold? Do we want to call like when, where? What are we doing?
When, where?
I feel like I got Song. I'm gonna say
I think 3 rounds.
I give a decision.
I was about to say decision because
I give Petr Yan.
I think it's gonna go by real fast.
Yeah, I'll say Petr Yan by decision. Maybe if you want to get bold, I don't know what the money line is on that one, but I say TKO.
Like wasn't not Peter. How do you say it again?
Song.
No. Yeah, Yan.
Yeah, Yan
was like, didn't he have a title fight recently?
Yeah.
So going from 5 rounds to 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like it's you do go. Well, that's why I think you could probably, it wouldn't be a bad idea to throw a couple dollars towards a TKO. I don't see submission.
Oh, true.
But like you're right. If they go from like 5-round conditioning down to 3 rounds. Less work, but they can put in a lot more effort. Maybe you see a TKO. Like I said, they both crack, bro. They both hit hard. So you could see it. All right, let's go to the next one. This one I'm excited for. Because these 2 dudes are some of my favorite. We got my boy Gilbert Durinho Burns.
Gilbert Burns.
I'm excited for this one versus listen, I'm pretty confident sometimes saying some of these names. And it's not that I can't say the name. It's just that when I say it quick, it throws me off every single time. So we're going to try this one. So, right. So it is Jack Della Maddalena, right?
Wow,
now you try to say that.
That's so impressive.
Thank you. Now you try to say that 5 times fast. It
Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah, dude, it is hard. I'm going to call him JDM for now.
JDM.
But this one is going to be a good one. These 2 dudes are also some really skilled fighters. Gilbert Burns has been in the welterweight division for now like quite some time. He's had a title shot. He came close. Not good enough, I guess, at that situation. He got beaten by Kamaru Usman. But he has been a guy that has put everybody to the test. Everybody has had to bring their A game when it comes to fighting him. Another guy that's skilled every single place you put him. It doesn't matter. And he's going to bring it every single time. Short notice or not, like he'll pull up, which he's done before.
Only thing I'm worried about him is like his past injuries.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you got to worry about that when these guys get a little older, which is crazy to say when you say
He's
a little older.
Close to retirement there.
I mean, the stat that's been thrown around a whole bunch with, especially with the Volkanovski fight that happened recently, is apparently with like UFC fighters, MMA in general, 35 is like that's the line. Once you hit 35, the chances of you beating a younger guy, slim to none. The chances of I think the stat was like guys that are like 35, they have less of a chance or 0 to no chance of like winning the title or defending the title. The only person that has done it, and surprisingly is the only person that has done it twice, has been Tyron Woodley, who's been 35 or older to have successfully defended his title.
He lose to Jake Paul?
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. How the mighty have fallen, bro. I mean, it's weird when it comes to like, people. I feel like put a lot of hype on the fighters, and like I listen, it's my favorite thing to watch personally. I feel like I've seen a lot of great shows, a lot of great movies, but like some about the emotion that comes out of like watching the sport. It's just like I feel like everybody has it with their own thing. You know what I mean? So for me, it's MMA. And it is something that when you get a little deeper and you learn a little bit more about these guys, at the end of the day, these dudes are prize fighters. You know what I mean? Like it is a guy or a girl or whatever signing up to go in, fight for money. So at the end of the day, when you're like, a lot of people may think because they see you in fighting these big fights. Yeah, you it's either fighting for the art or you see them in these high profile fights that they're making it big. But at the end of the day, if you're not fighting for money, you like what are you doing? So if you're not doing anything else, where's the money coming from? So at the end of the day, when you see these 40-something-year-old dudes or these even 50-something-year-old dudes getting back in the ring, whether it be the octagon or the boxing ring, and they're taking these fights for that paycheck. Say what you will about Jake Paul, that motherfucker need be paying.
Yeah, for sure.
And that paycheck is serious. So
we had no problem losing.
Yeah, so I feel like, I mean, it's crazy when you see that stuff, but at the same time, I mean, listen, they offer you a couple million. Like, you want to fight Jake Paul in this parking lot? I'm like, yes. Yeah. Sign me up. I'll take a dive. Not really. I'll give it my all.
I'll give it my all.
No training camp.
No training camp. Just like straight from the fucking.
Just from the jump. I get on my car to the. That's gonna.
Let's get it.
That's gonna be the new question. It's would you fight Jake Paul in a parking lot for $6 million? No training camp though, but he gets a full 6 months.
No question.
No question. All right, bet. I got you winning via KO body punches. Third round.
Catch that. Yeah.
Catch him real quick. Anyway,
break a rib.
Break a rib. Heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Going back to the fight with Gilbert Burns and JDM. Again, I'm not saying that full name.
It's JDM.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns been on, you know what I mean? He's been doing his thing. He's been up and down when it comes to his fights. But the thing is, like, again, he's one of those guys that's been fighting the top creme de la creme. Like, he's fought like Hamzat and made Hamzat. It's one of those things like, well, Hamzat was like this like villain. He's a super villain that was scaring everybody. He would just come into the octagon and murder somebody. One of the things that to this day still burned in my mind is watching him. He didn't even let the other guy throw a punch. He just picked him up, brought him across the corner, dropped him in front of his corner, and then choked him out in front of Dana White in under like 25 seconds. So like he was just this boogeyman. He was just this hitman, this assassin that would just pull up and everybody was like, yo, I'm not fighting that guy. Gilbert Burns brought it to him. He did lose to him, but he brought it to him. They went to decision. It was like Gilbert could have, I don't know. It's arguable. It's arguable, but Gilbert was putting it to him. Both of them were both involved in like their last fights where both went to decision. Gilbert did lose his last fight via decision, but Jack did win his last fight. I'd say this is Jack's biggest test in the division for sure. Yeah. This is one of those things of it's the old guard having to get up to the new. You know what I mean? These up and coming dudes, they're just quicker, faster, stronger.
It's different now.
It's different, man. I mean, you got to look at it when you get like that fresh round like lineup of draft picks coming into the sport. Like you're dealing with some hungry dudes. I feel
like the fighters that were old, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We're all on steroids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they were still killing it like the whole time. I feel like these older fighters are a little cleaner.
Yeah. Well, I would say like as a whole, I feel like that's kind of where the sport has gotten. Like I feel like everybody, well, I mean, they also get like tested and stuff, but I feel like for the most part, I would say you can look at everybody and you say they're clean. A lot of people have their comments on other fighters from other places and what they do, but for them, they all get tested. They all do the same exact test. They all pass the same, and everybody seems to be on the up and up. But I feel like what it is more so like, you got to think about it this way. The dudes that are now, they're mid to late 30s, they grew up watching like MMA on tape, like the UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that's where they were getting their MMA. Now, you got dudes that are growing up and they're watching the John Jones, they're watching like the DCs, you know what I mean? They're watching the Conor McGregors.
Of this.
They're watching dudes that are already savage. You know what I mean? It's like growing up with YouTube versus growing up having to watch highlights on TV. You have that at your fingertips. You know how much tape you can study.
Oh man, you're just like
You're just already coming into the game a whole different beast. You know that guy's whole moveset day one, and then on top of that, you're adding.
And it's such a new sport. It's not a new sport because it's fighting.
I mean, it's kind of I would say it's kind of
with the UFC,
new, at least into like mainstream, you know.
So like the sport's still evolving. People are still learning and learning how to like.
Just do anything.
They just keep on getting better and better.
Yeah, like it's crazy the like standard, because when you're watching, you hear the commentators, like after a while you like pick up on some of the things. Like I said, guys, I don't do this stuff. I don't train. I don't know nothing. I just watch.
There's a lot of times when I'm like fucking, yo, do this.
And
then you hear the coach or somebody or Joe Rogan like, yo, you should do this. And I'm just like,
I said that. I've been new.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like you after a while you listen to these guys and you're like, you pick up and you're like, all right, bet I know kind of what's going on. And I feel like sometimes you see and you hear them talk about like some of these fighters that they're like, oh, they don't even know how to do X, Y, Z. But you're like, that's crazy. They're supposed to know XYZ? Like, that seems like some high-level shit. But no, apparently now with the UFC, like, that is the creme de la creme, the top. That is, have to be the best. Like, you have to be the best at everything if you're going to do okay. If you're going to do okay, you have to be the best. If you want to be, like, the greatest, you have to be the greatest at everything. So that's tricky, man. Like, you have to see, like, where even, like, watching, like, every now and then you'll see... You're like, damn, maybe these wrestlers are the ones to do it. And then you watch 3 dudes get choked out. And you're like, no, man, it's jujitsu, bro. You see 4 guys get knocked out. You're like, this kickboxing shit, bro.
Right.
You know, every day it's something new. It's always evolving. So when it comes to like the young guys, like going up against I would say like, it's weird calling them old because they're in their like mid 30s. So it's like, that's not old. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like you got to go with the younger guy. And for that, I go with JDM.
Yeah. For the most part, you're gonna notice that I go with a lot of the younger people because
I would say more often than not, you're right.
Right, because especially if you're coming from a loss, I feel like I don't know why, but that mentality, you lose a little dog in you every time you take a loss.
Yeah,
just the little knots goes down.
I don't know, man.
You might second guess
Gilbert
yourself.
Burns is a little different. I feel like he's one of those dudes that he just loves to scrap.
That's
like
true.
I feel like he can't.
He definitely just had like a whole year to recover too, and like kind of like get in like great shape.
Yeah, man. He's doing this thing. I feel like he's one of those dudes that I feel like he will take a fight no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's weird when you get to a point. I feel like him and someone we're going to talk about a little bit is kind of in the same boat where I feel like title shot maybe not really your vibe anymore. Money though, I'll take that. So when you're like, oh, this young dude wants to fight, you'll pay me how much? You're gonna pay me double what I fought a killer last time. You're gonna pay me double to fight this young dude? Hell yeah, I'll take that fight.
Assassin. I just put that.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like at that point, just take the big money fights. So I'm gonna pick Jack on this one. Unfortunately, Gilbert Burns, as much as he's my favorite and one of my like top 3 UFC 5 players, I'm gonna go with JDM. Who you got?
Okay, I got JDM.
You got JDM. All right, you guys better be writing these picks now. Get that parlay going.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna have to.
I want to cut whatever it is. I want a piece. 15%. We'll work on it. Negotiate. I don't know. All right, next. This one's an interesting one. Similar idea. I feel like with the old, but in a different way. So we got Kevin Holland versus the newly brought into the UFC, but not new to the MMA game.
Right.
Michael Venom Page.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really know MVP. I've heard countless things to the point that I know to call him MVP. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's apparently this amazing kickboxer, this absolute savage.
He looked very electrifying.
He's a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson-esque guy.
Yeah, that's just really like.
I didn't know about him. I wasn't familiar with your game, Mr. Venom. Yeah. And then I watched your highlights. And I'm now very familiar with the game. I'm impressed. This man is a savage. This guy is a killer.
Crazy.
Bro.
He's so fast.
He's a problem. Yeah. Kevin Holland.
And he's the older one,
He's the older one, but he moves quick. But that's the thing. Like, there are some guys where I feel like they put a lot of energy and focus into this game. And obviously, your body is always something. Like, you see, like, in any other sport, guys, you're like, you're too old to be doing this. And to be doing the shit you're doing right now, how? How are you still doing this? What drugs are you on that we haven't caught up on?
Exactly.
But He's another one where I feel like he puts a lot into the game and he puts a lot into the sport. So like I feel like for him to still be at this level makes sense. You know what I mean? And then, again, I wasn't familiar with his game, but from all the other podcasts and everything else that I listen to, and anybody else that like knows the game pretty well, he's a problem. Like he's a savage.
12-0.
He's somebody that has been like heavily sought after from the UFC fans, where they're like, we want this guy in. These are the dream matchups. We want him in. Like, we want to see him. He's like a big knockout artist. Like, people are like, we need to see this guy. For the people that don't know, as of right now, his MMA record is 12-0.
Yeah.
Undefeated. Knockouts, almost all of them. Problem.
Yeah.
Absolute problem. Going up against Kevin Holland, who, honestly, one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. Like, I feel like this is going to be a good fight
He's a good fighter. My thing with Kevin Holland, though, is that, like, so I love him and I hate him for the same reason. Because he's a man of the people. He's an entertainer. He's the guy who will give you the biggest show. When I first saw Kevin Holland, he fought 5 times in 1 year, picking every short notice fight that Dana White would give him. They call him Loudmouth because he was talking to his opponent during the fight, talking shit. Yeah. And also just saying weird stuff. Like, I remember I watched him fight Jacare Souza, I think is how you say his last name. And he was on the bottom guard. He goes, I had a dream about this. Me and you were fighting just like this. And it was crazy. I just wanted to meet you. Thank you for doing this. And then he knocked him out right after saying that. This is a wild sport. This is a wild sport.
Maybe you got to be slightly tapped at least.
Like, for sure.
Like, you're
ain't no way. Yeah. These guys are the guys that like sat at the lunch table by themselves. Just wore a hoodie. You know what I mean? Like, you don't like, talk to them.
Just a little bit tapped.
Yeah,
you gotta be.
To be, especially to like some of the best ones. Like, for sure.
You gotta tap into that extra.
I mean, last time I was here, we were talking about Sean Strickland. That's our boy.
Yeah.
That man is insane.
Yeah.
That man is certified insane. If he wasn't doing this, I don't know.
He would be bare knuckle fighting in the backyard.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He'd work at a stop and no, he works at Shaw's. I feel like that's his thing. I don't know if you guys have been to a Shaw's, but the people that work at Shaw's,
just at the deli.
Some about them, I don't know. They're a little feral. Like, I feel like they, you know what I mean? You don't want to talk to them a certain way. They might get a little aggressive. You know what I mean? Not saying they bite, but they might. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I don't be going into those Shaw's. I'll tell you.
Nobody goes into Shaw's, bro.
I definitely steer away from it.
Go to the Shaw's.
Maybe the bakery sometimes will catch my attention. Go to your local Shaw's.
There'll be 3 people in there. 2 of them are employees, and you're the third. Like, there is nobody
literally
in there.
Like, the Goya section very small.
Yeah, no. If they have a Goya section, it's insane.
Don't go in there looking for plasmas. I'll tell you that.
I feel like this would be a good matchup though. I feel like this is when I say like earlier when I was talking about like the new versus the old. Obviously, Kevin Holland. I mean, not like a super long career in the UFC, but like for sure has been like a big name.
Yeah, he's had some big fights.
Yeah, he's had some huge fights. High ranking, low ranking, up and coming, big name, anybody. Like he really is just like pick him, give me a contract, give me paid, I'm out, I'm done.
25 and 10.
Yeah. The only thing with him though is that like he needs to focus. Is the way I'm gonna say it. He's great. Everything that I've seen about him in terms of like how he fights, he's an amazing fighter. The issue with him is that he can get too caught up in the entertainment. That's what I meant earlier when I say that I love him and hate him for the same thing. For example, the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight. Granted, he did break his hand at one point, so that did hinder him a little bit. But also, they set this preset agreement. Again, this is MMA, mixed martial arts. You can do it all. They set a preset agreement. There will be no grappling. There will be no takedowns. There will be no wrestling. We are going to stand in the middle. We're going to stand and fight. That's it. We are just going to scrap right here. Feet, hands, elbows, knees, nothing else, which is great. But he was also saying that to one of the best like karate kickboxers in the UFC. So he got whooped on a little bit. Yeah. So I feel like as long as he doesn't do anything along those lines for this, he should be all right. Because like I said, he's good all around as well. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say, at least as of right now, I wouldn't say like title contender. But I would say he has the makings of it. He's still young.
He has a good little fucking resume.
He's got a good resume, good record. Not
JDM
bad.
Just beat him, right?
Yeah. That was another one where I felt like
Alex Oliveira, he beat him.
Yep.
Solid.
But he's got a pretty good record so far. Couple good names. Couple dudes that are making their way up right now. Couple guys that could fight for the title very soon. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's a guy that like is
like the
right there. He just needs to, but he's on a line of being gatekeeper and being a contender, though.
Oh, I feel
like he's still young enough for me that I feel like
you got to fight this dude if you want to even get to the top.
Exactly, but that's the thing is, at least for him, he can still turn around. There are some guys, like for example, like I said, like the Gilbert Burns. I feel like there are dudes where like you are the gatekeeper. Like I'm sorry, unfortunately, it's just what it is. Because every time you get given a bigger shot to this is the guy beat him and you're going for the title. You can't pull the trigger. You can't figure it out. So what are we gonna do with that? You know what I mean? This one though, I'm gonna go a little different. I guess in the way that I put MVP, even though he's the older guy, he's the young guy. I'm gonna go with the younger guy still. I'm gonna give it to Kevin Holland still.
Oh, for real?
I'm gonna give it to Kevin Holland.
This is the first one we got.
I usually with my gut for this one, I was like, all right, I don't want to go with the guy that I like. Let me go with the guy that I'm like, all right, this guy's gonna win. Yeah. I still feel like Kevin Holland can knock him out. I feel like that one. I'm confident that one's going to end up in the KO.
Definitely could for sure.
Yeah, and I got Kevin on that one.
But I'm definitely going to go on the other side.
You going MVP?
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, that's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick. Listen, like I said, that dude has a career that's insane. That's just his MMA record that I said earlier. He's got a whole extensive kickboxing career that's crazy.
Like the MMA movie... This is the guy.
He's that dude.
Yeah, he's that dude. The fucking
the what's his name? Michael J. White.
Yeah,
he's the Michael J. White and like Bloodsport type dude.
Exactly.
Like, he's in there.
Real life.
Yeah, he's that guy. He's the Claude Van Damme. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
He's that dude. No, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a bad pick.
I feel he's gonna just fucking head kick his face.
You're gonna see some Matrix stuff, bro. All I'm saying is you're gonna see a spinning kick at least 4 times that fight for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. All right. Next. All right. This one's an interesting fight for me because this one has a lot of weight on it for me as somebody who's a huge fan of Dustin Poirier, who's fighting Benoit Saint-Denis, or Saint Denis, I guess, but Benoit Saint-Denis. This one's going to be an interesting one because Dustin Poirier just coming off a head kick loss to Justin Gaethje, who's, I mean, come on, that's Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a savage.
Don't take it hard on yourself. Pause.
No. But I feel like at the same time, though, like we were talking about earlier, coming off like a knockout.
Yeah.
How do you do?
Especially someone like him, like
and you're like, oh, let me take this guy who's ranked number 11, but's a murderer, who's just walking through people.
Like who this guy is like a fucking.
But this is what I was talking about earlier when it comes to once you get to a point where you're like, all right, title shot, maybe not it for me anymore. But money fight. Yeah. That money fight for me. Because you're talking about a guy in Dustin Poirier who fought Conor twice. Yeah. And beat him twice. Right. You know what I mean? Like, well, I guess the leg thing, but that counts.
Yeah,
he kicked him, so
it happens.
Opinion,
you know what I'm saying?
But you're talking about a guy that has been in some of like the most high profile fights, has fought the Khabibs, the Conors, you know what I mean? He's fought Justin Gaethje twice. He's fought like Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler.
Yeah, it don't get bigger than that. Like,
bro, like this, he is the guy. Like I would say like in that weight division of 155, the biggest names for the most part are in that division, but he is one of the guys. Like when you're like, who's some of the best, his name will come up for sure. But this dude Benoit Saint-Denis, I just feel like he's just like,
bro, he's a killer.
He's a killer, man. Like,
bro,
I don't want to get worried for a fighter because this is their job, this is their profession. It's like, but damn, bro,
he's in the special forces in France.
Bro.
like on some Call of Duty shit.
Bro, you saw his last fight. He dropped a nuke on that dude. He dropped the right hand from God and
Jesus Christ.
Bro, I feel like this one.
It's another one. I don't know. It's like this is a tough fight to even like.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dustin, especially after seeing him get knocked out.
I feel like with recent history of seeing guys that are like coming back from a knockout loss and then losing again, I feel like the smart money is going on Benoit. Yeah. And also the name Chris Benoit, look it up. I'm not going to explain. That's a savage. I got to go with that dude. And then the special forces from France. Dude, what are you talking about? He has
murdered people already.
Yeah, no, man. I feel like I got to go with that one. This one was I knew we weren't going to go a whole lot under this one because this was
imagine.
But hey, if Dustin Poirier proves me wrong, listen, He proves me wrong. All I'm saying is the moment they're in the pocket, they're in the middle of the octagon, and they're trading, and you see Dustin Poirier, he does it in every fight. So this is why this is like a staple. You see him just wipe the hair out of his face, and he starts hiking up those shorts like he's in the streets about to square up. That's when you know you might want to put the money on Dustin Poirier.
Okay,
when he does the hair push and the shorts pull up, it's over. That's when he starts getting in that pocket, and he's like, whatever is about to happen is about to happen. I'm just scrapping. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Like, I don't care.
Fuck it.
But that's when he's like, I'm just all chips are in. I'm down. I feel like that's when you put your money on him. But this one again, I'm gonna go with the younger guy, the up and coming guy. I'm going with Benoit Saint-Denis.
I am as well. I just feel like he wants it more.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna want it more when it's
I mean, title contender versus no title contender. I don't know. But at the same time, you think it's bold that Dustin Poirier took this fight. The guy he's fighting is ranked number 11. That's low. Like normally you fight somebody that's like 2-3 ranks.
Maybe he was thinking like this is a good fight to take because he's better than what he's ranked.
No, but that's the thing though, is that like it makes all the sense in the world for the lower ranked guy in Benoit to want to fight Dustin Poirier, who's ranked higher than him. But why would Dustin Poirier want to fight down?
Get his confidence back up.
Well, I'm wondering if Dana White was like, listen, give you a nice little here's the contract. Here's the briefcase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to fight this murderer. Here's the contract that says how much you got paid. Here's the briefcase with that extra. This isn't on the contract.
We got this guy here that's going to take you out.
I feel like as much as like I know like boxing has like the A side and the B side where there's like some guy that's like supposed to take, not a dive, but he's supposed to get washed.
Yeah.
UFC doesn't do it a lot, but this is one of those like
time to ride off in the sunset.
Yeah, we're gonna pay you big, and it's about that time, bud. So I'm gonna go with Benoit Saint-Denis on that one. We'll see if these picks are hitting. Again, if you hit big on these, I get a cut.
Yeah, right.
It goes strictly to 806. I promise you. It doesn't go to my pockets. Like they won't see any of it, but it'll go to the fund. I promise. I'll make sure it gets there.
Yep.
All right, and then time for the last one, the big one. The one that we've all been waiting for, in the words of Bruce Buffer. We got Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera. Listen. This one is one I've been waiting to get ran back because this one is the one that Sean O'Malley to this day claims, I didn't lose that fight.
Yeah.
He'll look at you dead in the face. I didn't lose shit. I'm undefeated right now. What you mean? They're like, well, on ESPN, it says that you lost. He's like, I don't know what that website is. Never seen that website a day in my life. I didn't lose.
Just fucking.
He lost, though. He lost. And to Chito Vera, he beat him, for sure.
There's like a certain type of people that probably hates on that so much.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole other side of people that fucking love it.
I mean, I'm gonna be as like the fan of like the entertainment side, I love it because like that's that shit talk. And he's like, you didn't beat me. His is his reason. He's like, you happened to hit me in the one spot of my body of this perennial nerve that'll shut down my leg. That was a lucky shot. You did not beat me. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, you're telling me so he kicked you and you fell and then you lost. That's what I heard, right? Because that's what I heard is that he hit you, you went down, and you lost.
If you punch someone right in the jaw, hit him right in the button,
and he goes out. He went out though.
He goes to sleep.
It wasn't over. You got lucky.
No, that was a lucky shot. I had you the whole fight.
Oh, you still got knocked. I'm sorry. So for me, I don't know. I've rewatched that fight a couple of times because I'm like, okay, let me take into the account the whole light.
Let me see what he thinks.
Yeah,
what he's seeing.
Yeah, and let me see. Okay, maybe he was winning the fight beforehand. No, to me, no. To me, still no. I still think Chito was winning. Sean is good. He's really good. But at that time, though, this is also a younger Sean.
Yeah, he was
fighting
still
a more experienced Chito at the time. So both hungry, both wanting the title. I feel like at that time, Chito had his number and he had him beat. This time, on the other hand, this is a much more confident, much more experienced Sugar Sean. This is a guy who called his shot on knocking out Aljamain Sterling, who is probably known as one of the best champions of that weight division, and did it. Pulled it to Boston, was like round like what, 1 or 2, knocked him out clean. Right. Easy, quick night. Big bag, got out of there, new champion, whole thing. Came out to superstar, Lupe Fiasco, shout out, fan of the podcast. But I feel like this is something that like I've heard a lot too. A lot of times when like somebody becomes a champion, their skill level, so I've heard, gets raised like 30%, which to me kind of plays into confidence level. You know what I mean? Like, you're a former champion in any sport. Like, you start the season fresh. You just have this like, look what we just did. Like, that was me. Like, I did that, and I'm gonna do it again. You know what I mean? Exactly. I'm that dude. I'm that guy. I just came here to prove it. You know what I mean? So that first title defense means a lot. But I feel like you've seen it with a lot of champions. Like, they come back that first title defense. On occasion, they do end up losing, but for the most part, the first title defense goes pretty well, depending on who it is that they're fighting. And then a lot of times, I think, at least that I've seen, I feel like if it's a rematch with like the champion, the former one, the former champion does not get the title back. I feel like that doesn't really happen. I feel like it's usually they keep that.
If he was to lose again, I think that kind of brings him into like a style bender situation with
oh yeah, where they're going 3, 4, 5 fights in a row for sure.
It's just like, I can't beat this guy. I beat everybody else, but I can't beat this one guy.
I feel like that would be dope though, because my thing is that like, so that is another weight division where like that the underneath those two, there's a lot of killers that are waiting to get that title shot. So where I do feel like Sean beats a good amount of them, I do think it'll be a thing if he loses to Cheeto, that's going to mess with his head. Yeah. Like you said, there's this one guy. I can't beat this one guy. Why can't I beat this one dude?
Just can't figure it out.
And I feel like it'll be one of those things. But the thing with this one where Sean, he comes at the gate pretty hot, pretty analytical, but he's very quick to start putting it on you. With Cheeto, the critique against him recently has been he starts off slow. Every single fight, real slow, studies you. Knows all your movements, where you're gonna go, what your feints look like, et cetera, and then he just breaks you down and he just pieces you up. He's got knockout power for sure.
If he has 5 rounds to do all that, and take it slow,
that's where it
is.
He
might have a better chance.
But you have 5 rounds. It's not gonna take 5 rounds. It may not take 5 rounds. Right. So Sean O'Malley in his last fight didn't need all 5. He got 5. He got 5, full 5. Here's 25 minutes. Figure it out. He did it in like 4 or whatever. Like he did, like he figured it out very quickly. So I feel like there's that chance too. You know what I mean? So I think this one's going to be a harder one for me to choose. I feel like a tough one. Sean O'Malley, I mean, taller dude. He's got the reach. Cheeto Vera, really well-rounded fighter. Solid, I feel like, striking. Mainly sticks to like heavy leg kicks. That's where, I mean, you got Sean last time. I wonder if that's gonna mess with his head a little bit.
Like, how is that? Like, he's gonna be so focused on defending that leg kick.
Well, he hasn't had like that. Again, it was like, according to him, a 1 in a million chance that he would have hit that like one nerve, because his leg like basically got shut down. Like, you see it kind of like he hits the back, and you see that Sean can't really put weight on it anymore. But again, that's where I'm like, so he kicked you, and then you fell down. Like he beat you. So I feel like he may have that, but I feel like he's also gonna have, like, I don't know, man. He's a confident ass fucking dude, bro. Like, I don't know if you've watched any sort of like press conference, any sort of like social media thing. He's very present on like all kinds of like platforms. He's very like, dude, I'm that guy. Like, I'm here. Like, that dude. I'm him, bro. Like, don't worry about me. You worry about him. Like, and I don't know. There's something to that. I feel like, where you have to, like you said earlier, you got to be delusional, you got to be cracked, you got to be insane to be in the sport, but that also works to your favor. You got to have a little faith in yourself. You got to be
like
a little
the Joker in a way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to enjoy the chaos. You know what I mean? The anarchy of it all. You know, but that's where I feel like these dudes thrive when it gets crazy like that. Right. Both of these fighters, I feel like, will do well. I for sure don't think there's going to be like grappling like that involved in this. Maybe a little clinching, but I feel like for the most part, it's going to be striking. I will say this. I get a little nervous with fights like this. I get a little nervous where both guys, like, you got the Cheeto where it's like, oh, he starts off slow because he's analyzing you. Yeah. So it's like, okay, on 2 fronts. One, is he going to keep hearing all the haters and all the things that people are saying? And he's like, all right, let me start fast. And then he messes up. And then he messes up. You know what I mean? Or is it going to be Sean who's anticipating him to start off slow and try to structure a game plan around that, and then Cheeto doesn't start off slow and he comes at him quick and knocks those Sean off. So it's also one of those ones where you don't really.
Yeah. I think regardless, he starts off quick.
You think so?
I
think so.
I think so. I think he's definitely heard.
He's heard enough where he's just like, nah, I'm putting it to him.
Yeah, I'm about to just fucking
hitting the gas at 1,000
right away.
I don't know, man. This
apply pressure.
This one I feel like is going to be an interesting one. I think this one goes over 3 rounds for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like this one's going to be like a test of wills. I feel like this one, like,
are you that dude? Sugar Sean.
I don't see either one of them. I'm gonna be honest with you, knocking the other one out. Maybe like a TKO, like they're just like tired and just like scrapping and whatnot.
At the end.
But I feel like I don't see anybody getting knocked out. Yeah, man. I feel like this will be an interesting one. This will be like a step, and then after this one, this is gonna lay out like a lot for that division. I feel like if Sean wins, he proves it. Yeah. He's that guy.
Is he already on the cover of UFC?
No, he hasn't done that yet.
Oh, but he's about to be.
Let's hope not. That's the curse. I don't know. It seems to be the thing with like a lot of sports, but I feel like that's the curse. Because look at this. Valentina Shevchenko and Volkanovski were both on the cover of UFC 5.
Oh, yeah.
Both champions. Where's their titles?
Yeah, what's going
Gone.
on? Yeah.
Who's on the cover of UFC 4? Israel Adesanya and Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Where are they now? Conor McGregor, UFC 3.
Stop. No.
That boy. And I don't know UFC 2 and 1. I wasn't here for that long. But anyway.
But he more so like, if he wins this fight, they're going to try to market it like.
Oh, he's already been.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
Like.
I'll say, here's my thing though
like
with
a new
him.
Conor or something.
So that's the thing, right? So he has this like fan base of like a much younger crowd. Like I'm talking like 23 and younger, like that's kind of seems to be his fan base. I don't know. I feel like he gets a lot of love. He gets a lot of interactions. There's a lot of like hype behind him.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: I feel like there are guys that don't do as much as he does and have way more love, like way more. Comes out and the crowd goes insane. Like he pulls up to fights, they show him on camera, and like a couple people will like be like, yeah, but like
because he has like a core fan base, sort of like But like I feel like most people see this, and a lot of people are like kind of like, man, who's this clown? You know, like
Well, it's what we were like when we were talking about when I came here to talk about the fight in Boston between him and Aljamain Sterling. Like a part of me when it came to like watching the fight, he got a lot of hype. A lot of people were like cheering him on. But a part of me also feels like that's like the amount of people that hate Aljamain Sterling or hate on him, I'll say. They don't hate him, but they hate on him. Like he just gets a lot of boos, a lot of like hecklers, a lot of people just talking shit for no reason. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see if he becomes like, if this is like if this beginning of this like crazy title reign, because then he also has now after 298, he's got Merab knocking on the door. That dude will wrestle him to death.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much been it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Uneducated Takes. Shout out Hongas as always.
Yeah, always.
Shout out Jesus.
Shout out Jesus.
Shout out Vibe Entertainment. Shout out 806 The Show. Honestly, I know this is the first one, but thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to do this. I feel like I've always wanted to explore this kind of route and talk my nonsense on MMA.
Oh yeah.
Always love to talk to Ariel here. Heavyweight champion. We got to get you a belt, bro. I'm telling you.
I used to have one. It was fantasy football. I lost it.
We got to get some fly, but you got to do like that NWO 806 spray paint on it. Dude, that'd be fly.
We need to all be NWO for Halloween.
I'd be down. So. I'd be down. But Hulk Hogan's not involved.
Yeah.
Again,
nah.
we don't mess with Hulk Hogan.
Hulk
Hogan said the N-word, bro.
Yeah.
We are the nation of domination, and we out.
Yeah, fact. Let's go. 806.